Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be continuing to disassemble my 69 Camaro Z28, and today we'll be removing the suspension. But first of all, I wanted to refer to my other channels, which I have motorcycle restoration videos on, and there's a lot of interesting information there, even if you're not into bikes. So anyway, back to the Camaro. As you can see here, we are starting to disassemble the front subframe and brake lines and fuel lines and so on, which you have to disconnect all that stuff before the front clip will come off, or the front subframe. And once you get all that disconnected, and also, you can see here I'm disconnecting the steering column there. But once you get all that stuff disconnected, which only takes a few minutes, then you just take out the four main bolts holding the subframe in, and then you can just literally roll the whole front suspension subframe assembly out from under the car. And in this case, I have the advantage to the body shop's lift. And so the car is sitting on the lift right now. And that's really by far the easiest way to do it, is with a lift. But if you don't have a lift, you can just put the car up on jack stands in your garage or whatever, and then just do the same thing. You just roll it out from underneath. Anyway, as the video progresses here, you'll see that we're disconnecting I'm disconnecting the brake lines here, and then my guys are disconnecting other systems and so on. And when you do the steering column, you have to actually disconnect it from the dash so that you can move it around and pull it out from the steering box, which is what I'm doing there. I'm disconnecting it from the dash. Just held on by two nuts, actually. Pretty simple once you have all the dash disassembled. And by the way, I've had funny comments about my steering wheel, and obviously that's the way I got the car, but I have a brand new NOS rosewood wheel that's going back on the car. So here we're just completing the disassembly there. And as you can see, the subframe and suspension are loose from the car right now, so it's kind of moving around a little bit. And I'm just disconnecting the brake lines right now. I'm not removing the brake booster yet until after we get it all undone. But now I'm disconnecting the brake lines from the subframe. You have to disconnect. The brake lines are attached to the subframe in about 3 different spots along the rail of the subframe, which is what I'm doing underneath the car there. And once you get those out, then you have to do the same thing to the fuel line on the right side of the car, which I'll be doing next. So now I'm disconnecting the fuel line from the subframe. There's 2 attachments in the engine compartment there, and 2 underneath the passenger door. Maybe 3, I can't remember the number. So you can see there the subframe is disconnected from the body at this point, and I really should have disconnected these earlier, but it's actually a little easier to get to once it's hanging down. So once all that's disconnected, then you just simply walk up to the front of the subframe and roll it out. You'd be surprised how light it is at this point. Very easy to move around. You can just kind of move it around like a wheelbarrow almost. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble the subframe and the suspension and all of that, and then I'm just going to take it. I'm going to take all the black parts, the upper and lower control arms and the subframe and everything directly to the powder coaters and have it powder coated in its proper color and finish, which is like a satin black. So then right now I'm disconnecting the rest of the fuel line that goes all the way back, and the back portion has already been disconnected because my guy has been working on the rear end, disconnecting that while I was doing the front. And the rear shackles on this car were just, solid together, and it was very difficult to get them separated from the car once the bolts were taken out. They had to do a lot of prying to get the shackles out because they were just frozen together. And then once you get those out, you start lifting the car up. And in this case, the lift, the arm of the lift was up against one of the front shackles of the leaf springs, which is why they're not separating at that point. So when I was viewing it from the rear like this, I had noticed that and told them that it was connected to the arm of the lift, so he had to kind of like work it out of there. I think it's...
Is the brake line?
I think it's up against the lift. Is that what it is?
Okay, Mike, pull this side. I gotta hold it like this, right here. You move the tail.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey.
Yeah, you can go down.
No, mom.
All right, lift the car up.
And like the front, you just roll it out, and it's very easy to roll out, very easy to maneuver around with the wheels still attached.
Now we got them both together.
Looks cool, huh?
Quítate, Johnny.
There you go, Francisco.
Yeah, it doesn't even need that.
Well, it's insurance.
Yeah, it's never gonna fall off.
I know, but it's insurance. Francisco, he loves you so much, you don't want to listen to me hurt.
We can put it down on the long one.
What do you want, Francisco? What do you think about?
Yeah, you think of this one, yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point now we can raise the car up and work on the underneath carriage and get some of the surface rust scraped off
All right, you got any of my tools?
and work on the patchwork from the floor pieces that we patched in. So now you can see underneath the car here, there's a lot of just really a dusting of surface rust that you can literally wipe off with your finger, and there's a lot of the original blue showing through. So I'm very, very happy that most of the rust that you see here is just a real thin dusting of it that's going to rub off very easily with a wire brush and so on. We've got a big brush that attaches to a drill, and it just really scrapes most of that off. So, and you'll see that here as the video progresses. I'll take pictures of it, but this is it in its raw form before we touched it. And then we've started to patch up the where we welded in the floor patches, and I'll show you that here coming up. So again, as you can see, we've brushed some of it off at this point, and you can see that the surface rust is just coming right off of there, and a lot of the blue paint showing through. So I'm really, really very happy with the condition of the undercarriage of this thing. It's just really in nice condition. With the exception of those patches in the floor, the bottom of this car is in like it was 5 years old. And we've put a little putty there, and when that dries off, then we'll smooth that out and hopefully hide the patch as well as we can. So that's just after one little scrape. And then here coming up in the next segment here, now we've pretty much smoothed everything out, and it's ready to, we're going to spray on, it's actually a bed liner, and it's called Raptor liner. Raptor, like the Ford truck. And that stuff is beautiful when you spray it on here. Plus, it we'll put a rust inhibitor on there first. But as you can see, a lot of the blue paint's still showing everywhere. And it just shows, that the whole bottom of this car is in really excellent condition. It's just too bad we had to patch the floor, but, hey, I'll take that over replacing the entire floor. So, and as you can see here, we've prepared the firewall, getting it ready to spray, the satin black paint on there, and that'll be done after we paint the blue. But we're going to do the bottom first. And again, I'll show you as this video, at the end of this video, I'll show you the Raptor liner that was put into a trunk of a car, and I'll show you what it looks like. But as you can see, the firewall's in great shape, and we've got it pretty much getting it prepared to paint. There's the hidden VIN. Again, a lot of the blue showing. It's in really great shape. Very happy with that. And when that filler or sealer dries, then we'll sand that smooth along those edges. So here's the Raptor liner that was sprayed in the trunk of another car, and this is what the bottom of my car will look like after we've get it all prepared and sprayed on. So we're going to do that first, and then after that's done, then we're going to pull the car into the paint booth and paint the blue so that we have the natural blue overspray like it was from the factory. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And please, as usual, please subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell after you hit the subscribe to get the post notifications. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. It really supports the channel. And, I'm looking forward to doing more videos on the car as it progresses.